Donna Jones was the chair of the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners from 2023 to 2024. Thanks to her role as Police and Crime Commissioner for Hampshire and the Isle of Wight and a 16-year background as a magistrate, she has extensive experience within the law enforcement sector. And I spoke with her earlier about her time in the role. So hi Donna, you were chair of the APCC since July 2023. I wonder if you could just talk us through some of your successes whilst in that role.
Well, the key thing for me, having been chair of the Association of Police and Crime Commissioners, has been about raising the role of the Police and Crime Commissioner and making the public aware that we are here to help and support them, whether that be through interaction with the police force or through the criminal justice system. Clearly, the policing system has been rocked to its core over the last couple of years with the incidents of police corruption, namely David Carrick and Wayne Couzens. And so the part that Police and Crime Commissioners have played in restoring the public's trust and confidence and making sure that when corrupt police officers are operating within police forces, they are being removed quickly. That's what we have really been able to achieve.
And for 16 years, you were a magistrate, so you've got that background in criminal justice. From that role, what did you bring into being a police and crime commissioner?
Well, I'd worked in banking for a number of years, so I have a very strong commercial background. So when I was elected as a Police and Crime Commissioner in 2021, as you say, I had also been sitting as a lay member of the bench in Hampshire, where I live, for some 16 years. What that taught me was how cyclical the nature is of a lot of people who are committing volume crimes in our communities. So shoplifters, burglars, people who are very violent, who are committing assaults. And crimes crudely fit into three categories. They're either dishonest, they're violent, or they are sexual by nature. And what I saw was that so many children who were failed in their infancy, perhaps by their parents, by their caregivers, by children's services departments, then ended up getting locked up as adults. So we failed them as children and we locked them up as adults. So much of the crime that we see and some of the most violent and dangerous people in our societies, I believe, could be prevented from those learnt behaviours that they have. And there is definitely green shoots in how we can make societies across Great Britain a lot safer.
Now, our programme today is called Policing for a Safer Tomorrow. What are your thoughts on the biggest future challenges for policing?
Well, for me, we do have an epidemic of knife carrying. If you think about how many young people carried knives even 10 years ago, it would have been at least half what it is now. Young people, particularly young males, tell us that they start carrying a knife for protection. And it is a very worrying fact when we have young people saying that to us. I think one of the biggest challenges is working with parents, not so much schools. Schools are very alive to these issues, but helping to educate parents to the risks that their young people are taking sometimes when they are going out. What does it mean to be a member of a USG, an urban street gang? What protection does your young person think it gives them if they become a gang member? Because we also know that that creates a lot more risk for them of being harmed, injured, stabbed, or in some tragic cases, obviously killed as well.
So how do you believe the role of the PCC can help to achieve that safer tomorrow?
Well, the previous government introduced something called the serious violence duty. That meant that people working, so prison governors, it meant that probation services, police forces, local authorities all had a requirement to take action and to create strategic needs assessments and to spend money and focus on how they were working in collaboration to try and reduce serious violence on the streets of Great Britain. What police and crime commissioners had to do in that, and we are still doing, in fact, is making sure that everyone that has a duty under the serious violence duty is fulfilling that. We also chair our LCJBs, our local criminal justice boards. And on those boards, you have magistrates, judges, prison governors, probation officers, you have people from the representing barristers, solicitors, and we are there to make sure that the court performance, the court recovery, so how long you wait for a rape trial to be carried out in this country, for example, we are making sure that the performance of our court system, of our judges, of our probation services and others in the criminal justice system are working properly.
Now, you did mention public confidence, and that is one of the APCC's priorities when it comes to police accountability and public accountability. How much of a challenge is this, though?
Well, yes, it is a challenge. We have a system in this country of policing by consent. Largely, our police officers are unarmed, and that is to the envy of many police forces across the world. And we are very lucky and very fortunate to have some of the bravest men and women serving us across the police forces, not just in England and Wales, but actually across Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And for me, I think the role that the Police and Crime Commissioner has to play here in terms of trust and confidence, in terms of making sure that policing by consent remains and is so well respected, is to be a voice into policing. I have victims of crime that come and see me in my surgery appointments, much the same as a Member of Parliament has every week. I have the mothers very often of rape victims that will come and speak to me about the victim services. And police and crime commissioners also commission millions of pounds of victim services and perpetrator reduction programmes every year as well.
And where do you believe that APCCs can actually help the operation of the wider criminal justice system?
Well, clearly the criminal justice system is under enormous strain at the moment. We don't have enough prison beds in the male prison population. This has led to people being released from prison early over the summer of 2024. I sit on the National Criminal Justice Board that is chaired by the Lord Chancellor, Shabana Mahmood. I've made the point there that there are some very simple quick wins. Too many people are spending too long on remand. That's largely because trials are not being heard quick enough. If we had more legal advisors and more courts sitting every single day, we would get people off remand and either sentenced in the community or back into prison if that's where they need to be. Simple common sense, that's what police and crime commissioners bring to the criminal justice system.
OK, Donna Jones, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.